Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life. Me, Mr. Shelton. I do hope that you're doing well and everything at home is going well as well if you're watching this at home. And if you're not watching this at home, I hope it's going well wherever you are. Let's just start with a bit of a classic. Let's just watch this Aesop's fable.
One day, the hare and the tortoise decided to have a race. The hare was making fun of the tortoise. He said,
"You are so slow. It will take you days to reach anywhere."
"Is that so, you arrogant hare? Let's have a race and see who is faster."
The angry tortoise decided to challenge the hare and teach him a lesson. The hare was amused and looked at the whole thing as a joke. They decided on the racing path and chose the fox as the umpire. The rivals started as expected. The speedy hare soon left the tortoise far behind. Having reached halfway, the hare decided to take a break.
What a lovely summer day it is. I will eat some grass and rest before I restart the race.
So he began to nibble on the green grass of the meadows. Soon after, he decided to take a nap. He thought,
Even if the tortoise passes me, I will overtake him and reach the finish line. There's nothing to worry about with this slow tortoise.
The tortoise plodded on, unwavering, unhesitating, towards his goal in his resolve to beat the hare. The hare, in the meantime, had overslept. When he awoke, he realized that the tortoise had overtaken him by quite a distance. He cursed and ran as fast as he could. When he reached the finish line, the tortoise was already there, waiting for the hare's late arrival. The hare learned his lesson. Never make fun of anyone's weakness. Pride and arrogance will always lead to your downfall. The hare accepted his defeat graciously and apologized to the tortoise for his rude behavior.
Okay, I wonder if you have got any idea what that story's about. It's a very famous story, I'm sure you've heard of it before. But maybe make a little note somewhere about what you think the point of that story is. Here's our cheesy intro sequence. Okay, so what we are doing today is we are continuing thinking about the kingdom of heaven. We're thinking about kingdom values. And today we're going to explain what parables are and how they can convey truth and what we understand by truth as well. Our literary objective is to research information, interpreting it correctly. So how do Jesus' parables reveal the kingdom of heaven? Big question today. As always, do pause me as we go. Do make sure you get that title written down and do photograph everything and send it through to your teachers because we'd like to see it when it's done. So it's going to be good if you can retell what a parable is and what Jesus taught through his parables. Great if you could explain two parables with their meanings, and even better if you can create your own parable with a suitable meaning as well. So our literary objective is to interpret information, and we're going to do a little bit of reflection of learners and think about what it might be spiritual or moral in terms of what we personally believe and what we understand right from wrong to be. During today's session then, we're going to think about what a parable is, we're going to do some research, and then you're going to look at your own parable as well. So to start off with, what do we understand by the word parable? Let's pause me now and write down what you understand by the word parable. If you're like, I don't know what I mean by the word parable, then write, I don't know what a parable is. Maybe come up with an example if you know of any. But pause me now while you do that anyway and see what you know already.
A parable is a concise, didactic story which exemplifies moral lessons or principles. But that really only helps you if you know what the word didactic means. Didactic, when something is both diet and galactic. Didactic. That's not true. All right, didactic is something that is intended to teach or morally instruct. Now, a parable is not an allegory or a fable, so what is it? All right, maybe I should just let H.W. Fowler explain it from his work, Modern English Usage. The parable is to enlighten the hearer by submitting to him a case in which he has apparently no direct concern and upon which, therefore, a disinterested judgment may be elicited from him. I think I'm making things worse. Can I get my bowls back? Is it too late for? Okay. Let's just say this. A parable is a simple story illustrating a moral or religious lesson. Enough said. Having said that, let me say a few more things. Although parables tend to be about simple everyday things like a tree or a seed or a smaller seed, we often discover deeper meaning for our lives each time we read them. Now, Jesus frequently taught his disciples using parables. Although they seem to be simple stories, the disciples sometimes scratch their collective heads, wondering, what was Jesus talking about? The parables also confused and frustrated those who were against Jesus. But Jesus' intentions were to provide guidance for his followers to better understand the reign of God. Now, even for those who know little about the Bible, the parables of Jesus will always be among the best known stories in the world. There you go.
Okay, now, in lesson, what I would do is I would ask people to choose a box randomly by the box 1, 2, 3, and 4, and what's behind that box would be a parable I'm going to show you. However, because I'm fully in charge of what you're going to see, I've chosen 2, which I think are pretty interesting in my humble opinion. And you'd say you're an RS teacher, of course you think everything's important. Well, yeah, okay, I take that, but anyway, be quiet. So, we're going to see 2 of these parables, and I'd like you to summarise in your books what you think is going on in these. So you might retell, you might watch it and write down, there was this bloke and he, and then explain, and then say what you think it means, and then give it a go as well with the second one, and see if you can get both of them written down. Be interested to see what you think about them. So let's just watch these now, and see if you can work out what goes on.
I've got an appointment with Mr. Wood.
I have your 6 o'clock here, Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood will see you now.
Thank you.
Take a seat, Mr. Martell. Do you know why you're here?
Yes, sir.
I've been studying your accounts for the last 2 years, and you have managed to collect an overwhelming amount of debt, $2.3 billion, and not a single effort has been made to make payment. I've contacted the company lawyer. The trial will take place in 3 weeks, and you have until then to make payment in full.
But, sir, how can I ever come up with that much money?
Failure to repay the debt will result in a lifetime prison sentence, and the debt will be passed on to your immediate family.
My family has nothing to do with this.
Your mistakes affect more than just yourself.
Please, sir, be patient with me, and I will pay back everything.
Tony, you can never repay that debt. That's why I've decided to cancel it in full.
I don't deserve that.
No, but go and forgive as you've been forgiven. Don't work yourself too hard, Adam.
You know me, sir. I never do. Tony?
You haven't paid rent, Adam. It's been over a month.
I left you a note the other day explaining my situation.
Don't give me that excuse. Pay back what you owe me, every last penny.
I get paid next week. Please, be patient with me and I'll pay back everything I owe.
That's not good enough. Here's your eviction notice. You must pack your things and leave by tomorrow morning.
Did Adam take leave?
Well, not exactly. He called to report he'd been evicted.
Why didn't he show up for work?
I'm not sure. All I know is that he missed his payments and Tony Martell told him to be out of the company apartment by morning.
Send Tony in when he gets here.
Morning, sir.
I canceled all of that debt of yours. $2.3 billion. But you've got the nerve to evict a man from his apartment for not paying his rent for 1 month?
I can explain.
I've decided to reinstate all of your debt. Every last penny.
Okay, so I'm hoping that you saw those. The parable about the alien type cartoon type one is about doing whatever you can to help God. Okay, and God will reward you. He gives you talents, he gives you gifts, and if you use those talents and gifts to help others, then you will be rewarded through that. The other one is about forgiveness, okay? About you need to forgive other people in order to be forgiven, as we spoke about with the Our Father last week. Now, we're actually going to come back to that unforgiving servant. You may well have known some other parables that Jesus spoke about. You've got a choice now. You can either do a Y or a plus. Now, what I mean by that is you can either hunt for 3 of these 4 bits of information, or you can hunt for all 4. And depending on how much challenge you want, if you want lots of challenge, then you go with the 4. If you want just a little bit of challenge, then you go for the Y, you go for the 3. You're going to divide your page up either with a Y or a plus. Either with a Y or a plus. And then what you're going to use is, using the information linked in the description below, you're going to look at this information. Why did Jesus use stories? What's the kingdom of God? Looking after others, and the unforgiving servant. And what you're going to do is, so you're going to read that information over. I know there's quite a lot there, but you're going to summarize 3, 4 or 5 bits of information. So depending if you've done the Y or the plus will determine if you're doing all 4 sections or 3 sections. And you're going to get 3 or 4 or 5 key bits of information from each of those. So you need to access the description below. You need to get hold of that information sheet and start to work out what God's kingdom is shown through parables, and why Jesus uses parables to talk about God's kingdom. So pause me now while you do that, and then come back to me. Okay, so what we've done so far today is we've looked at what a parable is, we've done some research on that, and then we thought about our own parable as well. Incidentally, I hope that you now know that a parable is a story with a meaning behind it. I think you probably got that from the clip earlier. So what you're going to do now is you're going to create your own modern day parable. No more than 100 words, please, right? This isn't a creative writing task that's going to take you forever. This whole thing is for you to be demonstrating your understanding about how stories can have meaning behind them. So you're going to create your own modern day parable, and when you finish that, you are going to photograph it and send it through to your teachers, because we'd like to see what you've done. So do that now and come back to me when you're done. So we said it'd be good if you could retell what a parable is and what Jesus taught through his, and you've looked at 2 or 3 of those today. Great if you could explain 2 meanings with their parables, and even better if you can create your own parable with a suitable meaning as well. If you've got time left during this lesson, then please do put some illustrations, some drawings with it. But I fully understand if that is out of lesson time, because we've covered quite a lot again today. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for your time. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Wash hands. God bless you. And I'll be seeing you soon.